So it is currently 41 degrees Fahrenheit outside. No, I'm not taking this blanket off. Hello friends, welcome to today's video. We are going to be making a walking skirt. It is really the second time I made a walking skirt. I made a test one before I filmed to make sure I knew what I was doing. Love them both. They have been assimilated into my wardrobe. They magically match everything. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I decided to go with a 5-paneled walking skirt, and after doing some quick research and digging out some of my patterning knowledge, I came up with a quick pattern based off of how large I wanted the hem and my waist measurement. This will change for everyone. I knew that I wanted the hem of each panel to be about 40 inches across. So as I am measuring it on the half, for the front panel, I am measuring 20, and then part of the waist is 5, I think is what I measured. You need to make sure that that seam is curved, that way it shapes around the body nicely and doesn't awkwardly pull too tight. Once I got the front panel cut out, I kept it folded in half and used that as a pattern piece for the side panel. Then, to make sure that I had enough fabric to be able to pleat everything in nicely, as well as the length for the hem that I wanted, I cut the back panel out in a giant rectangle that is the desired length by 20 inches. Then I ran all of the raw edges underneath my serger to finish them nicely. The next step was laying out all of the panel pieces. Then I cut a shallow curve into the waist of the skirt, so that way it would sit better on my waist. Then I went ahead and started sewing all of the panel pieces together, leaving the center back seam open. So I started by closing off the edges of the waistband so that was nice and finished for when I needed it. And then I went ahead and sewed the placket onto one side of that center back seam. Once it was sewed down, I went ahead and understitched that seam allowance onto the placket side of the seam to make sure that placket was nice and flush and where it needed to be. Once the placket was put in place, I sewed the center back line, and then I hemmed the other side of the placket just to make sure all of those raw edges were nice and contained. Afterwards, I put the placket together where it needed to be and put stay stitching in, similar to what you see at the bottom of the zipper on jeans and dress pants. Then it was time to attach the waistband. I'm finally doing these steps in order. I know, weird. I did pin the skirt on so it laid nice and flat until I got to the side back seam, so the seam that connected the side and the back panels, and that's where I started pleating it into the waistband. Once all of the waistband was pinned to the skirt, including all of the pleating, I went ahead and sewed that down. I did sew the waistband to the wrong side of the fabric, so that way we could turn the waistband and apron stitch it to the right side of the fabric. This makes sure that the top stitching looks really nice and neat. Then it was time to try on the skirt. I loved the way that the pleats draped in the back as well as the fit in the front. So I went ahead and put 2 buttonholes in the waistband and then sewed buttons down on the other side. After the waistband was complete, it was time to even out the hem and mark it to the length that I wanted, because I did cut it longer than it needed to be. I did take my time with this and make sure that I was trimming off the same amount across the entire length of the skirt, as well as folding it to make sure that it was even all the way across. Then it was time to do the hem of the skirt. I chose to do this by stiffening it with horsehair braid, which is basically just a plastic stiffener that you can put in the hems of skirts. I have a lot in my studio left over from when I made my wedding dress, so I figured, why not? I did sew the braid on about 1/2 inch away from the edge. That way I could just turn it the width of the braid and then tuck that raw edge under and sew it on really nice and neat. It created a really nice edge on the skirt. It also gave the skirt a lot of needed support to help get that silhouette and look that I'm looking for. If you're looking for a historical way to do this, you can use tarlatan. I just like to throw all of my clothes in the washer, so tarlatan wouldn't hold up very well to that, which is why I really like using the horsehair braid. Alright, and this is our finished skirt. I am so happy with it. I think it looks really nice and elegant. Next week we are going to be making a matching blouse, and I will see you guys then. Bye guys!